So I feel like asking for help was something that was super like hard for me my first and second years. And even now, like sometimes I want to control everything. So I'm like learning to do that this year, because a lot of times I'm like, I know my work and I know my work ethic and I know what I can do and can't do. And I tend to be like, yeah, I got it all. And like, I don't want to be an inconvenience to anyone. That's definitely something that was super challenging for me, and learning to say no sometimes when it came to opportunities, because I'm like, like these opportunities are so good, like I want to do them, and I feel like I can just, you know, I want to claw at everything. I'm like, I want this and I want that, I want this.
Hi Wildcats, welcome back to the USZ podcast. This is a platform whereby we spotlight students' voices and people in the academics as well. So today we are so proud to have Jairo with us here today, and he is a fourth year student in public health studies and Spanish interpretation and translation with a minor in leadership practices and strategies. You're most welcome to our podcast today. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. So how is the senior life treating you so far?
It's pretty good. I mean, like, I do have an extra year with public health left, because I did switch my major from physiology to public health. But when it comes to Spanish and when it comes to my minor in leadership, I'm good with those. Like, this year will be like, I'm done with that. So I'm super excited for that to happen, but also like, it's getting closer to where I have to like walk on stage, and it's like, it feels so good, because, you know, like, as a first gen student, it's like, you finally, like, you know, you achieve something that's like super great for you and for your family, and like,
And so how is your schedule like? Is it super busy?
I tend to like overcommit. That's like my biggest flaw, is like I tend to be like, yes, I can do this, and yes, I want to do that. So this year I've definitely like learned to like turn away some opportunities or like share it to other people that I know. So for my schedule, I've definitely like prioritized my classes, of course, because academics come first. And then I have my jobs as a resident assistant and a desk assistant, and then some extracurriculars. I hold a position as the president of the Host of Future Health Professionals and the outreach coordinator for the Global Health Alliance. And then I probably do have some other commitments, but I can't really remember them off the top of my head. But it's definitely like tough. Like, I definitely have to have like a planner, like physical, and then like my Google Calendar, like I have to like have everything everywhere, because it's like, if I don't, I'm not really good at like being like, oh yeah, like I have to do this like in 10 minutes. If it's not like me getting reminded by my planner or my calendar. But that
happened to me last semester. I wasn't really like using the whole planner thing. So I had so many clubs going on, and then I had other activities outside school, and so some of them, like, you kind of find that your commitments collide with something that you're doing, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing this, and yet I'm supposed to be doing something else. And I was like, no, this semester I'm gonna have a calendar and put everything on the calendar. So something that is outside the calendar, that means I'm not supposed to do it, you know. So for somebody who has never heard about like what you're doing, like the HOSA club, how do you describe that?
So I definitely pitch Host of Future Health Professionals as a healthcare organization. A lot of people that come to college, or because I mean, there's different divisions. There's the middle school division, high school division, as well as like post-secondary and collegiate. But a lot of students tend to think that it's just for doctors or people who want to be nurses, or like people who want to be doctors or nurses. But it's much more than that. Aside from building community and finding a true like family when it comes to like things that you can relate to, and wanting to pursue a career in, there's things like public health, which I'm pursuing, as well as like veterinary science, dental, and other careers as well. That there's like competitions for, recognition events, and it's just an amazing opportunity for students to like delve into healthcare and really like discover what they would like to pursue. And even if you come to college and you're like, I still don't know what I want to pursue, there's still amazing opportunities everywhere. I know on campus there's so many pre-health clubs that I definitely like have found like help people with when it comes to like volunteering, clinical hours, and just overall opportunities to like really immerse oneself in healthcare. I think it's amazing. But yeah, I think that's like the main gist of HOSA, Future Health Professionals, is that like aside from building community, you get to experience so many amazing things like conferences too, and you can help plan events so that you can also gain experiences, because I mean like all experiences, like there's no experience that is like serves you in the wrong way. I feel like you learn from every single thing, and yeah, I feel like that's the main gist of HOSA. I could ramble all day about it, but I need to like summarize it. But yeah.
Why did you go into public health?
I went into public health originally I was going to physiology because I heard from everyone, it's like, you need to do physiology, it's really heavy on anatomy and physiology, you get all that help when it comes to like medical school, like you'll have that knowledge. And I'm like, yeah, like that definitely makes sense. But at the same time, like ever since I came into the university, I was like, I want to like do something with public health. So I would take like a gen ed and be like, oh, this is an amazing class. And it's like, I felt like sometimes I was like, oh, maybe I could take on another major. And I was like, triple major is insane. And then I was like, maybe I could do another minor. And somebody's like, double major and double minor, aside from your extracurriculars, like you have to drop something.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I like decided to switch because last semester I didn't have the best experience with physio. And I feel like listeners maybe that are gonna listen can probably relate to that. So I switched to public health because I definitely found my calling when it came to advocating for people, minorities, especially those here in Tucson that live in southern Arizona. A lot of people here are immigrants, and they can't really access healthcare. And even if they could, the language barrier itself is something that really like stops them from obtaining that. I volunteered for a while last year at Clinic Amistad, which is here in southern Arizona, and I did some hours there, and I helped patients when it came to translating. And a lot of them felt heard. Like you could see that difference where they felt like you were addressing every single one of their concerns instead of them just saying yes to everything and not knowing half of what the doctor said. So I felt like I could do way more with that, and it definitely inspired me when it came to working in El Salvador, because my family's from El Salvador. So this past summer with our HOSA organization, we helped with medical equipment in a local clinic that we have in one of our villages. And with the help of Sunnyside High School, which is here in Tucson, as well as people from my church, we were able to, donate some medical equipment. And this year they want to plan sort of like a health fair over there when it comes to gaining awareness on things like the Zika virus or dengue, which is really prevalent in the villages over there. And sadly, they don't prioritize healthcare, which is like, it's really sad to hear because a lot of people can die from unnecessary reasons. So this year we're hoping we can plan an event, and even though we can't all just like fly out to El Salvador and take part in that event, any single bit helps in the process, and I feel that a lot of students can gain a lot of experiences through that as well. So I'll be championing that, and I'm so excited. And I just overall like really just have a mission to attain that calling to help minorities and just like overall impact global health. And even though I can't fix everything, if I could just do something that will like help diminish a certain disease or help diminish the prevalence of a certain disease in a demographic, I feel like I would have accomplished my mission. But yeah.
You mentioned that you were first generation, and as a first generation myself, my parents are constantly fighting for me to get more involved with school and get internships and stuff like that. Do your parents do the same as well?
So I'm actually quite the opposite. Well, I love my parents and how they've inspired me. But they half the time they're like, yeah, like you do you and you got this. We don't know what you're talking about, but that's great. Like we'll support you. And I really love that. I love that they've been there for me through thick and thin for everything. But sometimes they see that it can be a lot and they're like, if you just want to drop out, go ahead. And I'm like, hey, don't give me that advice, please. But they've definitely been like super supportive. I definitely had like a rough patch in high school where I felt like there was a certain moment where I was like, I don't know, like maybe I won't do college, maybe I'll just like work after I finish high school and graduate. But deep down I've always wanted to do healthcare, and it's like I have to pursue it. So even though it was something that wasn't like super traditional or mindset that was traditional in our family, they definitely were like, we'll help you. We don't know anything when it comes to college and university, so you'll have to do that part yourself. But whenever it comes to any financial situation or maybe you just need someone to talk to, like you can always call us or visit us. And the good thing is that they're also here in Arizona. Like I was born here in Arizona, just like 2 hours and a half up north. So I just like go visit sometimes on the weekends. But it's definitely frustrating as a first gen student sometimes when there's like a certain barrier that you're trying to cross, or maybe you look around and you're like, oh, like, but they're doing this, or like, oh, they've already got this much hours, and like, are you kidding me? Like, they're so involved, and it's like you feel like you're already behind and you haven't even started, like you haven't even crossed that line in the race. So it's definitely like super frustrating and challenging too. And sometimes that like imposter syndrome comes in sometimes where you're like, I don't know if I deserve to be here. But sometimes you need to flip that and be like, no, it's an absolute privilege to be here, because there's millions of people who would wish to go to college or obtain a higher education and they can't. So we need to make the most out of it.
Were you always involved in school, in high school?
Yeah, I tried to be super duper involved because I was like, there's like so much to do out there, and I don't just want to like go to school and then go home and just like do my homework and just like clean. I don't like cleaning. But even though my mom's a house cleaner, love her for that, but I cannot do that.
It's not in the genes.
It's not in my genes. But yeah, like in high school, I was in a dual enrollment program called the ACE program through a community college up north in the Maricopa County. And then I was also involved in a vocational school that's called the Western Maricopa Education Center. I did my medical assisting certification there, as well as like phlebotomy technician. And I was still involved in HOSA. I've been in HOSA since my freshman year of high school, and it's been an amazing journey for me. I served as the 2022-2023 post-secondary collegiate vice president for Arizona. I'm hoping maybe there's a greater opportunity this upcoming year. So I'm excited for that, but I definitely always liked being involved, and even if there wasn't like a direct club that I was involved in, there's always something to do, and I like that. So it's like a little distraction from school.
I know it's really, great that you did lots of, engagements from your high school and then also here at the University of Arizona. Was that one of the reasons as why you co-founded the HOSA outside America?
So I'm in the process. I know y'all had our social media chair, I think Katrina.
Yes.
Love her. She's amazing with social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I was in high school, I was like, okay, like I had the same thought process as her, because she was like, I don't see Philippines up in here. So whenever I would go to the first time I went to the International Leadership Conference, they had the Parade of Flags. And I would see all the states go up, and there was several countries. There was Canada, there was China, South Korea, Trinidad and Tobago, and Puerto Rico. And I was like, oh, this is nice. And I was like, so where's the rest of the Hispanic countries? And I didn't see El Salvador up there. And I was like, I'm going to make it my mission to like at least have a couple chapters, maybe 1 year have a couple students come and represent El Salvador. And I've definitely like internalized that mission, and I'm definitely working towards it. And I like HOSA has done something so great for me. It's like helped me come out of my shell. It's helped me reach new opportunities and new limits that I thought I couldn't achieve. And I know that there's so much youth that's so passionate in El Salvador, and the main reason they don't pursue healthcare is like because family just really doesn't pursue education, but also because over there they prioritize work over education, as well as like there's like not enough money, and it's a little tough. But I know the passion is there, so I'm going to keep working. There's been a little bumps along the way, but every process has that. So I've definitely I've made that my mission to bring El Salvador to HOSA and hopefully have that representation. I know this past year they had Vietnam HOSA finally founded and everything, so they were represented in the Parade of Flags. So I love that. And then you can make amazing friendships literally everywhere. Like I have friends that I think this past year came from China to UC Berkeley. And I was at the bash at the rec too, and there was like someone who was like, yeah, I'm from China HOSA, like I'm ready to join your chapter. And I was like, that's insane. Like that's like such a wild coincidence, but like I like to think that there's no coincidence, there's always a purpose. So I'm so happy and excited to hopefully work with our potential new member. But yeah,
that's amazing. So if another student would love to join your club and get involved, what steps could they take and what should they expect from the experiences?
So to join HOSA, it's not like a rigorous process. It's not like an honorary or like some sort of that they have like an application process and stuff. So we have our first meeting actually this Thursday from 5 to 6 in little promo real quick, but it's from 5 to 6 at the Chavez building, room 301. So we'll have that meeting there. I think it's from 5 to 6:30 now, because there's like a lot to go over. And people can just show up. Like y'all can just show up. And we'll do like some sort of like at the beginning it'll be like, oh, everyone get to know each other. And then we'll introduce HOSA to the club, and then we'll have there's like processes like you need to pay your dues, and the dues are like $25. and then that will be for the whole year, just to register with National HOSA, like for competitive events, if you want to attend conferences in and out of the state and stuff like that. So once you pay the dues, there's like a couple forms you need to complete too, and then we'll start like making committees and hopefully achieving a lot of goals this year. We want to collaborate with different clubs on campus too, so that not only we could get some form of like promotion, but I mean other clubs too, and we could all help each other out. But
what motivates you to serve in so many roles? I know that you said that you're president for HOSA, you work out of school, and you're also in classes. And why is community service and leadership so important to you?
I would say that being involved and being like working for my community is super, super duper important for me, because it's something I would have wanted, is someone to maybe like look up to, or someone I can turn to for advice, or someone that looks like me to like be represented in a field like healthcare. There really isn't any Hispanic representation, so seeing someone say like, if I was a person who could only speak Spanish, seeing a person that like I can like speak to with comfort, I would want that like 100 times, and I feel like that's like a main motivator, is that like other people probably want what I'm like serving in, like they want to have that access to different resources and opportunities, as well as like that representation too. So I definitely like am very patriotic when it comes to representing me, my people, in healthcare, because it's like the percentage is so low, and I know I'm not going to increase the percentage to like 50% or anything, but I'm contributing to it, and I feel like that's super important, because I know like there's a lot of first gen students here in Arizona. I don't know anyone else that's like Salvadorian or anything. I have met a couple, but even then, like maybe there's rising generations that are like, oh, like how much is our representation? Let's Google that real quick. Google is free. I forget that sometimes. But like I feel like I do it for representation, but also because it's my calling. I feel like it's my purpose to serve others, and to maybe alleviate any pain, or to provide something that someone, like provide answers to questions someone's been looking for so long. But and also just to gain experiences, because I mean like a lot of like it makes me well-rounded, but also I just like having experiences, and like sometimes people are like, I never knew you could do that, and I'm like, or like it's really popular. People are like, you're left-handed, and I'm like, we've been friends for 10 years, but no. But it's like I feel like that's
growing your resume.
That's super cool. So looking ahead, like what fields do you think you want to work in the future, with all the opportunities you've had here at the University of Arizona, with all the club involvement and leadership activities? Where do you see yourself working?
I'm still honestly thinking. Before, I was super set that I'm like, I want to become a trauma surgeon, the first in my family to be a physician, and stuff like that. And it's like now that I'm like delving into public health, and I'm like looking at the world around me, I'm like, this world needs people to step up and do something.
Yes.
So I definitely want to be like a health advocate, like a global health advocate. Like if it comes to me, like maybe one day speaking for the United Nations and be like, hey y'all, like let's step up and do something, because there's so many problems around the world right now. Like this morning we talked in my Spanish class about how migration isn't just here, like the United States and Mexico border. It's everywhere. It's all around the world. And there's this documentary called Human Flow that like I watched last night, probably for an assignment, but I really enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend y'all to watch it. And I learned so much from it, and that's just one problem, and it's already such a big problem that there's so many other problems too. So I definitely feel like I would love to be a physician, but I would also love to advocate not just for my community here, but for communities all around the world.
That is super beautiful, because like you said, migration is like everywhere in the world, and it's not only specifically when it comes to wars. It also comes with climate change. It comes with other issues in the community, and so many stuff going on with how the world is changing so quickly. So it's and if we have students who are really thinking in that direction of advocacy, that's really beautiful, because people are really going through a lot in so many parts of the world.
Don't have a voice, or like maybe they're seen less than a human, and sometimes people, like, we have to recognize that we have privilege. Like us sitting here right now, we have the privilege of living and not having to worry about our next meal, or worry about housing or something, and we definitely like can all use our privilege to advocate for others, advocate for those who feel like they don't have a voice. I feel like that's like super incredible and super beautiful when people identify that they're like, I have this privilege and I can't speak up, even if it's not going to protests, but like posting on Instagram story or spreading awareness about a certain topic in like reports or something, or if you teach a class to students, because I was like a team leader for the Blue Chip Leadership Program last year, and there's always something happening in the world, so definitely being mindful of that and like letting everyone know that you're there as a resource, but also like to support them is super important, because I mean everyone could use a little comfort. But,
And what is the Blue Chip Leadership all about?
So the Blue Chip Leadership Program is a 4-year program. You can obtain your minor in leadership strategies, which I'm doing. And I know for first year students, they like send like newsletters out before they enter the university, and they're like, hey, if you're interested in obtaining a leadership experience, you can join our program. Funny story, I got that email when I was in detention because I was late. I was late like 4 times, and they're like, oh, like now you have to get a detention because you can only be late like 3 times. You get passes 3 times, and after that you have to get a detention. So I was like, okay. So I was like doing my homework. It was like 8 a.m. and I was like, wait, like what is this email? And then I like joined and everything, and then I came to the university, and it was an amazing first year experience. I mean, there's like opportunities for you to like, I went to Mount Lemmon at a Boy Scouts camp, and we just did a couple things, some service hours, and then for a community partner we learned how to like reach out and communicate, make a report, and we went to Clínica Amistad, and I stayed at Clínica Amistad because I really loved the experience there as well. And then second year it comes to classes when it comes to like design thinking, and actually making prototypes for different problems that can be occurring around the world, even simple problems. And then I was super inspired by that, so I ended up being a team leader, which you can do in your 3rd year. And the second semester of your 2nd year, they end up like, training you, giving you some resources and helps for you to prepare yourself. So I had an incredible experience with my students. And even though some had to leave the first semester, I still remember them. I see them on campus. I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Hey. But I definitely do recommend the Blue Chip Leadership experience to hopefully viewers that are potentially considering the U of A. And now I'm in my 4th year, and we have a capstone presentation that we're preparing for the end of the school year. So I'm super excited for that. I made amazing friends. I know one of your past speakers spoke about Edgar Zambrano, who was a senator for the College of Agriculture. He's one of my best friends, as well as Ariana Decker, who's now on the HOSA executive board. And then we have a whole group chat too. We're like, we're all besties. So shout out to them. But yeah, college definitely overall is an experience within itself, and it's something that it shapes you, honestly. It shapes who you are entering adulthood, and networking definitely helps you with like so many, like you can get connections to enter to a job field, or maybe you just need friends for support. I know sometimes after college people go away to different states or countries, but one phone call could definitely like brighten your mood for the day. But
one of the things I love about college is that everyone's so friendly. Everyone we interviewed, you as well, you're super nice, and that was something I was scared of during high school, because in high school everyone's so weird and suspicious, and here everyone's so open and nice.
Thank you. But I definitely have to agree. I feel like high school, everyone's like going through their teenage years, and they're like, oh, like I have to be super cool and popular. I have to be the number one. And then you get to college, and it's like the school is so big, nobody cares if you're trying to be popular. Like you can wear like the best fit. But I did see that on a poster. There was a poster in high school that said like, you can wear the best fit ever, but in 30 years people are going to remember you for what you did and where you are, rather than what you wore that one October 30th 2022. Like nobody's going to remember what outfit that was. They're going to remember what impact you left. So that definitely inspires me too.
So we are coming to the end of our podcast today. Thank you so much for being with us and inspiring other students. And so looking at your 4 years, and you're going to your 5th year here at the University of Arizona, what challenges have you encountered as a student?
I feel like there's been so many challenges within my journey here. Aside from like, sometimes there's family emergencies that one needs to take. That's how I understood that time management is so important, because it's like yes, you can plan these things and stuff like that, but sometimes life is just gonna life. So you need to plan accordingly. I know my freshman year there was some trouble with my father's health. He's still with us, thank the Lord. But there was a little hiccup with his health, and I had to like leave, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna drop everything and go because like I really want to be with him. So that was a challenge that I had to like face because I ended up failing a class, and I was like, oh my goodness, and I felt it was the end of my life. But it's like, hey, it happens, and you can only go from there. So, and then I feel like time management was a big issue with me throughout my college journey, but also, like, sometimes I still have trouble when it comes to, like, going up to someone and be like, hey, how are you? Because then you feel like those people in the mall that have the clipboards, and they're like, can you sign here real quick?
Are you registered to vote?
Yeah, and voting is important, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to be, like, super awkward, or I'm like, hey. Like, who are you? So I feel like that's definitely been a challenge, but at the same time you have to remember, like, I'm gonna make this connection. What can this connection get me? It can be a friendship, it can be maybe someone who's like super high up in a company, and they're like, okay, like, you can definitely like pitch yourself in a way so that they can like consider you, and also just actions speak louder than words. So I feel like a big piece of advice when it comes to people in their journey is that actions speak louder than words. You have to be mindful of who your audience is if you're in giving a speech, or like if you're in a club, like what actions are you doing, and because they can reflect you as a person. And first impressions are everything. So a simple like rude comment could absolutely ruin someone's perception of you. So yeah, I feel like don't focus too much on your image and be like, oh my gosh, I have to be the perfect person, because we're all human. Everyone makes mistakes. But at the same time, definitely be mindful that you have a diverse group of people all around you here at the university. This university is so diverse. And I'm so happy for that, because I meet people from all around the world, and they bring in their cultures and their gastronomy. I love food. So any food recs, I'm like, so yeah, I feel like I don't like cooking as much, but I do love eating, so we love that. But yeah, I feel like the diversity also is something that like inspires me so much, because there's some, like, it's like you're looking at a car one specific angle, and somebody has another angle when they're looking at the car. It's like you gain that insight from so much diversity and so much positions that people are in and backgrounds that people come from, because not everybody has the same experience or will have the same path in college. So that's definitely something important that inspires me too, because it's like everyone's leaving their own mark, everyone's traveling their own journey here. So yeah.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through that with your family, because I know when something's happening with the people whom we love the most, it does affect us psychologically. Yeah, but I'm glad that you're able also to go through that, and your dad is still alive, he's still doing well, which is super great. Are there other issues that you had to face throughout your career besides family, let me say, when it comes to the educational overall here at the University of Arizona?
I feel like here, the university is definitely very welcoming, and I'm so thankful for that. I definitely feel like being first generation within itself was a bit of a challenge. And yes, they do have resources, but like I know within like my demographic, like a lot of Hispanic families like don't reach out for help, or they're not the ones to be like, can you help me? They're more like, no, we're gonna power through this, like we got this, like even if we don't know what we're doing, we're gonna do it. And that's how I grew up. And like reaching out for help was like super hard, and everyone's like, you have think tank, you have campus health, you have all these resources, ASUA for your clubs, and I'm like, yeah, that's so true. I didn't reach out, like I like as much as I wanted to. I'm like, no, like what if they're gonna like think my questions are so dumb? And it's like I've had to break that like thought process, because it's like they're there for a reason, they're there to help. So I feel like asking for help was something that was super like hard for me my first and second years, and even now, like sometimes I want to control everything, but like I have had a talk with my vice president for HOSA. Her name's Abigail Kais, little mention, but yeah, she's definitely been like, you don't need to do everything, like you have an officer team for a reason, like just breathe, let us do some things too. And I was like, yes. So I'm like learning to do that this year, because a lot of times I'm like, I know my work and I know my work ethic and I know what I can do and can't do, and I tend to be like, yeah, I got it all, and like I don't want to be an inconvenience to anyone. And they're like, no, like please be an inconvenience, like this is why we're in our elected positions. And I'm like, you're so right. So I definitely like, that's definitely something that was super challenging for me. and learning to say no sometimes when it came to opportunities, because I'm like, like these opportunities are so good, like I want to do them, and I feel like I can just, you know, I want to claw at everything. I'm like, I want this and I want that, I want this. I remember I ran at one point for ASUA, and I still hopefully have intentions of doing so, but that was a rough semester, and I was like, no, like I want to run for this, like this would be so cool to be a part of, and it is something nice to be a part of, you know. Representing the student body is super important, but I feel like you also have to have the capacity to do it, and it's not just like, it's not a joke. So when I ran, like it was definitely like pretty difficult to like make up videos and, you know, have like specific goals set to like what you want to do. So I feel like going into anything, honestly, applying for anything, you have to have goals of like, what do you expect, what do they expect from you, and yeah, that was definitely something that was like, I need to like learn how to say no, like even if people like try to sweet talk me into it, I'm like, no, like I can't, I'm so sorry, because like I tend to be a people pleaser sometimes, where I'm like, fine, like I'll do it, even though it's like it'll hurt me like academically or something. So I've like definitely like learned to be like, I'm so sorry, like I can't this time, but maybe another time. But yeah, I feel like those are some challenges. I feel like everyone has their unique set of challenges. So
yeah. I'm glad that the university is really doing so great to, help the students out there. But I can also understand from the perspective of like where you're coming from, whereby like you feel like you just have to do everything, or even if you're going through stuff, you're like, I got this, you know, I got this, I'm gonna be able to do it on my own, I can find out my own solutions. And I think it's one thing that the school should understand, is that most students are really going through so much, but it's just like whatever backgrounds they're coming from, it's like a culture, you know, we have different cultures, and there's things that you have to speak up, and there are things that you just have to solve them within yourself or find your own solutions. And so even if students are not reaching out, it doesn't mean like they're not going through certain issues, you know, but these resources are really very important, and if they continue to offer them, it's really cool, and it supports so many others who are able to like step up and reach out. And I'm able, you're learning that too, to say no sometimes is like, because one thing I realize is that if people are telling you go do student senate, it's because they've seen the potential in you. And it just doesn't just come out like from nowhere. Or if they're like, you can do this leadership stuff, it's because they see that you can do it. And sometimes you're also already doing something else, so you're like, can I do everything at the same time, you know? Yeah, so I think it's like, it's a process. We are still students, and so we don't have to kind of have a lot of burdens. Just breathe out, you know, take what you can, and whatever you can't, you leave it for others as well.
And all the resources and experience you get will only help you and others. I remember when I'm still in HOSA, but like when I was younger in HOSA, I definitely like, I met so many people, and they like asked me for advice. Like I was a state officer, so I was like learning so much and getting really close with like the organization and knowing amazing like new things. So I made a friend, her name is Jackie Cardenas, little shout out to her too. But she reached out and she was like, oh, like I need some help with a couple things, because she's from Yuma. Now she goes to ASU, and she hopefully will join the chapter there. But yeah, she like asked me for some help, and then through that like help, I was like, yeah, like here's a couple of resources, and she's like, okay, like, and then we met at a conference, and now we're like besties.
Oh my goodness,
that's, like, super great. I feel like being someone that people can reach out to is super nice, because it's like, they think that you know, and I'm like, okay, like it's like, even if I don't know, sometimes I'm like, maybe I don't know about this, but I do know how you can access that. So like finding a way to get there, I feel like is super important. And even like now I like have this new position with the Global Health Alliance, which is like, it focuses on public health topics around the world. And I'm the outreach coordinator, which is like something new this year. But I have a friend who like, who's like, hey, I see potential in you, you should apply. And that's why I applied. Now I'm in. His name's Barkov Ghosh. Love him too. So I definitely know that I can reach out to him. And I feel like overall, like, seeming like you can be a person who's accessible, like someone that's approachable too, is super important too. And I'm glad that I can be that for people on campus, like also in residential life, in my resident assistant role and desk assistant role, like you have to be a constant resource. Be like, yeah, this is a resource, go to campus health. Or like maybe you need a maintenance request, go ahead and do that through a portal. Or the residents asking me questions and I'm like, oh yeah, like there's these other resources, let me get a flyer for you or something. Like we can walk to campus health if you want to. Or having difficult conversations. I feel like all of that's important. But yeah,
one of the biggest keys to success is having a good mentors around you, and for you that's your friends, and that is amazing, especially now having to navigate through fake friends and real friends. So it's so cool that you found a good group of friends that support you and your ideas and your future plans.
I feel like friendships are definitely super duper important. And they help me get out of bed every day, honestly, because they're like, oh, like I try to make friends in classes so that they're like, are you coming to class? Like, like, okay, get up, I'm sorry. But yeah, and also like professors, I feel like that's the most daunting part of like networking, is going up to a professor and like be asking a question and be like, I saw this opportunity, maybe you lead this lab, can I like get more info on that, or like maybe could I be included in that? I feel like it's super like it can be tough because it's like it's a whole professor, an expert in their field, and you're gonna go up to them and be like, hey, hi, how are you? So that can definitely be daunting, but I'm sure that a lot of them are really approachable and eager to help. So yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us here today, and thank you for motivating others and inspiring them. We will be having a student panel this semester, and so we hope to have you again on our panel, and we also hope to have you on more conversations again here at USZ Podcast.